Hey guys, Pastor Kyle here doing a car video between meetings because sometimes communication is even more important than quality. Wanted to do a quick Sunday recap for those of you who couldn't join us. We finished up our Onward Vision series for 2023. We had talked about community, living like a family, formation, becoming like Jesus, and this last Sunday we talked about mission, making an impact in our city in 2023. And so to talk about the mission, we really had to set the table. And the first thing is that our big idea was to make Jesus's last command our first priority. And so Jesus's last command was that we were to go. So going into our workplaces, going into our schools, going into our neighborhoods, we were to go and to make disciples. To make a disciple, we baptize and teach people to obey all that Jesus commanded. And that's all of life in increasing submission to Jesus. So we talked about, where are you going? Do you know the people around you in your workplace, in your neighborhood, in your school? And what does it look like to take the conversations, to take the interactions, to take the relationships, and begin to, even, pre-evangelism, begin to disciple people? What does it look like to talk with them, to begin to take our thoughts and our interactions and have all of life in increasing submission to the Lordship of Jesus? And so then we talked about, as a church in South Seattle, how do we go about this mission of making disciples? And so we look then at Acts 1:8. As Jesus is right about to ascend to the throne in heaven, he gives the disciples a final sort of marching orders, and that is that we are to be his witnesses. And he lays out this sort of threefold pattern in Jerusalem, Judea, the ends of the earth. And so we talked about, we want to make disciples locally, in South Seattle, regionally in Seattle and all King County, and then globally to the ends of the earth, wherever God might call us. And we looked at some of the ways that we do that locally, through opening up our church, through doing community Easter egg hunts, through giving Christmas gifts to families in need, any way that we can be a blessing. And we opened it up and asked, hey, if you have connections, if you know needs, we want to love and serve and be the arms and feet of Jesus in South Seattle, in Rainier Valley, in Beacon Hill. And so we talked about what that looks like locally. And then regionally, we talked about our partnerships with the Seattle Union Gospel Mission, with CareNet, with Almeida. There's a lot that God is doing in our region, and so we want to join Jesus in the mission that he's already about. Through his Spirit, he's working providentially in all sorts of places and in all sorts of ways. And so the mission, the church doesn't have a mission, the mission has a church. We're just joining Jesus in what he's already doing. And then we talked about globally how we are partnering with Grace Community Empowerment in the Philippines. We're going to hear from Sharon this coming Sunday about an update on all that's happening. We're looking at doing a mission trip over there in August, and we encourage you to pray about whether the Lord might be calling you to participate in that. So lots going on, lots more details I didn't even get to. Check out the full sermon for all of that information. But I just want to encourage you, as we did in the message, that is, if you are a non-Christian and you're kind of floating, connected to our church in some way, we don't want anything from you. We want something for you. We want you to come and know and love Jesus, to be forgiven of your sins, to be adopted into his forever family, and to be given hope, life, purpose, all that Jesus is for us. It is overwhelmingly good news, and we hope that you come to see it as good news. And then for those of you who are Christians, as we talk about the making Jesus's final command our first priority, are you going with intentionality into your workplace, into your neighborhood, into your school? Are you making disciples, helping people, teaching them, answering their questions, that all of life in increasing submission to the Lordship of Jesus? And are you faithful to do this locally, regionally, and globally? And then finally, what is your next step? What is your next step of obedience? For some of you, it might be getting involved in church. It might be becoming a member. It might be attending a community group and Bible study. It might be serving, leading, giving, praying. engaging in some way. So the mission is ongoing, comprehensive, perpetual. We have the promise that Jesus said that he will be with us even to the end of the age, and he is inviting us like a dad who's taken his kid to work. We are being invited into the mission of God, and it's happening all around us. The mission field is plentiful here in Seattle and around the world. And so the question then is, what is your next step of faithfulness and intentionality to join Jesus in the Spirit in the mission that's happening now? So anyways, we love you guys. I do hope that this is received as a challenge and that you will step into whatever the Lord is calling you to. So God bless you. We'll see you next Sunday.